but we're here. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Touchdown Podcast, the TD Podcast. We are your hosts, Dak and Tony and Dak. And in today's episode, we're going through the AFC and giving you our record predictions, division by division, team by team. And by the end of it, we will have the best and the worst teams in the AFC. If you're an NFC team fan, don't worry. We're getting that later this week. We're not going to make you wait until next week because that's a lot of time. And I know when other podcasts do that to me, I get a little upset. So we won't do that to you. So without further ado, let's get into our AFC teams. A couple of things that we had to keep into account with our predictions was the schedules, of course, obviously, home and away games, and just try to be realistic. Now, I will let you guys know that so there's a website that we used. It was a Pro Football Network. Was that it?
I believe that is what we used.
So Pro Football Network
every year.
has a tool where you can just go through week by week and choose winners and losers. And by the end of it, my record's got a little crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. So just hang in with me.
Like for me when I did that, it wasn't I wasn't expecting some of the records that I got, and I was like,
they got a little crazy.
Okay, well then these guys are gonna go 7-10.
Just know this is preseason. This is early preseason. This is May, the end of May, almost June. That's when these are running out.
Things are
gonna change. So we're gonna try to keep this 5 minutes per team. If you guys have been watching, you guys know that we get a little wild on some of the teams, specifically our own. This is not a Max Crosby jersey. This is a brand spanking new Brock Bowers jersey. Had to rock it for the AFC teams. So.
I thought that was a Henry Ruggs jersey. Sorry.
No, that's hanging up in a shadow box at my house, but my dad's. I ordered it, and by the time I got it was when it happened. So. Yeah, anyways, the first division we're going to crack into is the AFC North. Now, I don't have any fancy graphics for this, so we're just going to have to roll it off. I did, however, go through on my laptop, and I saved every team's schedule release graphic. So I have every team's schedule graphic on my laptop, and I will be going through them one by one. So, yeah, we'll start with the AFC North. Do we want to go fourth to first or first to fourth?
Let me go to my graphic real quick because I don't really remember. I mean, I remember who's last, obviously, in this division. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
If you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you kind of know who we have in last place from the AFC North, and it just depends on how many wins I have versus how many wins Ant has.
I'm talking about
it's the Cleveland Browns.
Like 4-4, 3-3, 2-2, 1-1. Like, do we want to do it like that or 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4? Like we have very differing lists. Fun fact for you. I was looking at yours. I was like, wow, we're gonna have some talks today. So.
Yeah, I mean, we can just go 4-4, 3-3.
Okay,
2,
so
2,
start at the bottom of every division, and then Y, and then we'll go through it. Before we get to that, I need to spit this out real quick because it's a little bit spicier than I intended, so time out.
I'm out on the play. Flag. He missed. Just like his quarterback's going to do all year this year and miss.
Liar. Geno Smith is a GOAT. All right, we're back. Time in. Back to the show. All right. So starting from fourth place of AFC North, I have the Browns. I did not intend them to have a 0-17 record, but that's what I have them at, is 0-17, and I got a couple reasons for it. Number one, they stink, all right? Number two,
0-17?
0-17, back to what, the 2018 Browns, 2017 Browns, back to them. So, number one, they stink. Number two,
that bad.
We don't know who their starting quarterback is. Number three, their receivers stink. Like, Jerry Jeudy had magic with Jameis Winston, but outside of that, I mean, what? They got two rookie running backs, so they're going to have to run the ball a lot. Now, I'm not, like I said, off the top of the show, I did not intend for this to play out the way it did. But as I got further into the season, I was like, I don't see them winning these games. So
I
think they could get a couple wins. But so along with this episode, we have our record predictions and also their over-unders in terms of what ESPN has out for them right now. Right now, the Browns over-under is 4.5. I'm drilling the under easily. They're 1,000%. Losing every one of their games in the division. So I have them going 0-17. Do I think they'll actually go 0-17? No. But as I was going through the schedule, I was just like, man, they're not beating this team. Every year, there's an upset or two. It's going to happen. But right now, the Browns...
I feel like they're going to beat Cleveland. Or not
They're going to beat themselves?
They're going to beat Cincinnati. I feel like they're somehow, some way going to beat Cincinnati and Cleveland. And, who knows?
Okay.
Excuse me. Who knows what's going on in Cincinnati right now on that defense?
So, obviously, you have the Browns last as well?
Yes, I have the Browns going 2-15, but I have them going 0-6 in the division, and 1-11 in the conference. Hammering the under on their wins. It's 4.5.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
That's too many
Browns,
for me.
4.5 wins. Dylan Gabriel is still listed above Shedeur Sanders in
as he should be.
Depth chart. So, and I'm a firm believer that Shedeur is better than Dylan Gabriel. But they got way too much going on. They don't know what they're doing. I feel bad for the coaching staff because it's going to be a dumpster fire like we saw the Giants on Hard Knocks a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think that was actually last year. So 2-15 is where I have the Browns.
Okay. Now, obviously, we just think the Browns suck. But I think we also had the same third-place teams. There's going to be some fans that are pretty upset about this. But I have the Steelers going 5-12.
I mean, it was really, really hard for me to even allow them to go 7-10 for me, just because I don't see the Steelers winning 7 games. With their roster, but you can't count out Mike Tomlin.
The roster's really good.
I could definitely agree with you 5-12 just because of how they've been, how they look right now. But I have them going 7-10 and 2-4 in the division.
Yeah. I like their over-unders for wins right now is 8.5, right? But I for the first time like ever, basically, I have them hitting the under. Like last year, I bet early, like in the offseason, like right now, like this time last year, I bet the over for the Steelers to hit the over because they always hit the over. But this year, they don't have a quarterback coming into the league or coming into this year. Jalen Warren is their starting running back. DK Metcalf is their number one receiver. That's solid. Robert Woods and Calvin Austin III are their 2 and 3.
You gotta don't forget about Roman Wilson.
He's number 5 right now, so or number 4.
Saying out of camp right now that he's going to be a really, really good receiver. That's gonna spark some eyes this year. Obviously, we hear that every year. Oh, this guy's going to do well, and then turns out, I mean, no offense to A.D. Mitchell last year, but he didn't have that great of a year. And we were all sitting here saying, oh, he's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Granted, year 2, well, I'd love to see what the guy can do, but
I definitely think they can win more games than 5, but right now, I definitely have them going under. Because not having a quarterback this late in the offseason scares me. Like, they're in OTAs right now, and there's no real quarterback. Mason Rudolph is out there. They're still banking on Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think that does too much for him. But
if you're in the Aaron Rodgers media following him around, he's mentioned the team he thinks that he could play for plays Chicago in, week 11 or week something, and that's the Steelers. But
Art Rooney has said...
if he really wanted to play, he'd be on a team right now.
Art Rooney said apparently numerous times that he thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to be their quarterback. But I don't know. I don't buy into the maybes. I buy into what I have right now, and right now Mason Rudolph is their number one quarterback, and I don't like that. I like the Browns quarterback situation more than I like Mason Rudolph. I would rather have they have all the options. They could roll out a new quarterback every week and leave the opposing team guessing because almost all those quarterbacks have different playing styles.
And one's a lefty.
And one's a lefty, exactly. So obviously our top two are the same. It just depends on the record, which I know our records differ from one another. I have the Bengals at 9-8. Their over/under for wins is 10.5. Okay. That's really close. That's a really good line. It scares me. I'm not hitting either of those lines.
There's a few lines that I'm watching and I'm like, I'm not touching these. Like they're just so scary. And they're not a guaranteed if you're Charles Barkley. I have the Bengals going 11-6.
They were a hard team for me.
I know that they didn't play very well last year. I know the defense was a problem. But that offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL. And if they can figure it out on defense and just not, give up maybe 30 points a game, not 40, they might win some more football games.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's going to be able to throw the rock, all right? So I have them going 11-6. As you mentioned, the over/under is
10.5.
Again, that's just super duper
I'm not
scary.
touching that line. That's scary.
Yeah,
Too many
the
variables.
Defense isn't addressed. The defense isn't addressed, and the edges aren't addressed. The first-round pick, and then your sack champion.
Their offensive line isn't that much better, and Joe Burrow has been hurt before. I'm not taking those risks.
I said it many, many times throughout my whole entire life. Joe Burrow reminds me so much of Andrew Luck.
Without the athleticism.
No, I'm just saying his career path.
Oh, okay. I was about to say there's the athleticism is totally
different. Granted, Andrew Luck did not play in a Super Bowl, but Deflategate doesn't happen. Yeah. They weren't winning that game anyways.
Probably not.
But anyways, offensive line banged up, continuously gets banged up, continuously just relies on the offense the whole entire time of his career, and then he gets burnt out of football.
Yep.
So, but
then becomes
what do you have for the Ravens?
Oh, I got them going 15. Oh wait, hold on. That's 15-2. I don't know how that happened, but wow, yeah. I think I had them losing to the Chiefs and the Bills. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that happened because I don't have that much faith in their receiving core. But their over/under is 11.5, and I will be hammering the over.
I'm hammering. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna hammer the over.
They're getting at least 5 wins, I believe, out of their division. So, yeah, I'm hammering the over. Let's see. So, they play the Bills, obviously their division. So they play the Bills outside of the division. Sorry, let me focus. Bills, Lions, Chiefs, Texans win, Rams win, Bears win, Dolphins win, Vikings win, Jets win, Patriots probably a win. Who knows?
Patriots are favored in I think 11 games this year according to sportsbooks already.
I've got a fun record for them. Their over/under is 7.5. I've got a fun record for the Patriots, and then the Packers.
There, don't you?
No, I don't. And then the Packers.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's pretty. So we have at least 5.
I got 12. I got them at 12-5 just because I don't trust the Ravens all the time.
Yeah.
I know there's a few games where they just play like dog doo-doo.
Yeah, they do.
And for me, because I know those trends and because I've seen those trends all the time, it's so hard for me to go, oh yeah, they're gonna be one of the best teams in the NFL this year, by far our top 3 team. They will be a top 5 team in the league this year. At times, they're going to be a top 15 team in the NFL this year. and they're going to show you why. Their receiving core likes to take balls to the chest. Pause. So, um, I have them at 12-5. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Rams. They might beat the Bills. They might beat the Chiefs, but these high-powered teams that do well.
Those are up in the air.
I think, yeah, those are up in the air. But I'm hammering the over.
Yeah.
They've hit the over in back-to-back years. But I have them as a 3 seed in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. So a little foreshadowing. I have the Ravens tied for first in the AFC record-wise. I didn't plan on this going the way it did, but so our next division is the AFC East, and this is where it gets interesting because I looked at yours and I looked at mine, and they're a lot different. And yours is a little bit more sane than mine. So we'll start with yours. Let's just say this.
Oh wait, hold up, wait! I'm the sane one.
I didn't intend for it to happen this way, but this is how it happens.
Hey, I like it. All right, it's easy said and done. Jets are 3-14. Justin Fields doesn't have much help, and they're going to need some draft picks, and we could possibly be seeing Sauce Gardner get traded. Not probably this year, but next offseason when it comes draft time. Full blow up, full rebuild. They got a new coaching staff in there. They're going to blow everything up. Build around Justin Fields, as you should be building around Justin Fields. Chicago messed that up. But 3-14, 1-5 in the division, and 2-10 in the conference is what I have the Jets in Gang Green Nation.
Yeah, so my fourth place team is not the Jets. It's the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins.
It just relies on Tua.
I have the Dolphins going 2-15.
That ain't happening. Not a Tyreek Hill.
Here's the thing.
They're gonna be able to win you 4 games.
Here's the thing. Well, their line is 8.5, and I'm hammering the under. With that easily 8.5 is under. So here's the reasons why we got the Dolphins hitting the under and going 2-15. I don't believe they're gonna win two games. All right. Again, I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again. My record's got a little bit crazy, but I do think the team's going to suck, right? The defense was mid last year. Did it get better? They lost Javon Holland. Bradley Chubb's still hurt. What's the other guy's name from Miami? Jalen Phillips is always hurt.
Did Jalen Ramsey get out of there yet?
Jalen Ramsey's... No, he's still there. Tyreek Hill doesn't. Tyreek Hill don't want to be there. We saw what happened last year if Tua gets hurt. Even when Tua's in, Tyreek still didn't get the ball. He was on my.
Tyler Thompson.
No, Tyreek Hill was on my fantasy team. He didn't do anything. I was like, Tua's coming back.
That's why.
I was like, no, it's not why.
That's why we have him at 2-15.
That's not the only reason why. I have no faith. Mike McDaniel just seems like he's losing hope. He's losing steam since did he win Coach of the Year or was he like close? What either way, it was like right there when he had all of his head of steam. His train ran out of charcoal 3 years ago. I think they're falling off, and I think they're going to be rebuilding here soon, and I think it starts this year.
So I don't even have Dolphins at 3.
Yeah, I know.
I got Dolphins at 2, but that obviously means that either 1 and 3 can process of elimination. I have the Patriots at 3. I have the Patriots going 7-10. I think they get better. I think they're in a lot of games this year with Vrabel being their head coach. Their defense is going to be a whole lot better. And it's going to be some low-scoring games, and I think it's going to be the Patriots of the past. And 7-10 for me is a good record. I think they can become a winning team next year with a positive record, especially in that division, because the Jets are falling apart. The Dolphins could fall apart. And, they have the Bills. So the Bills just run the division. But they can feed off the 2 other teams there.
Yeah.
But 2-4 in the conference, 5-7, 2-4 in the division, 5-7 in the conference. Again, they're over under, I believe, is 7.5. They win 7. They're third in the AFC East, and they could be a playoff team next year. But it's just not yet for them.
So
not yet. Just like the team that we're gonna get to later, that's on your chest. Not yet.
I wanna backtrack a smidge to the Dolphins for 2 reasons. One, so as I did say, I went through and got all these schedule graphics. Their schedule graphic is really cool. I'll leave that. I'll give them that. But going back through their schedule, I don't think. Yeah, I think I might be closer than you think, because we got week 1. We have the Colts, loss. Patriots. Patriots. Week 2.
Pause. The Colts don't win week 1.
Colts of the old. Okay, but the Dolphins don't win, period. So, okay. So, up in the air. Patriots. I'm taking Mike Vrabel over Mike McDaniel.
Not yet.
I'm taking Drake May to a degree over Tua.
Not yet.
But Drake May is going to be, one, so much healthier. Leaps and bounds healthier, more mobile. Tua steps out of the pocket. He's on freaking flatline watch. Exactly. Like, the only thing Drake May doesn't have that Tua does is a receiving core. But you know what? He's got a defense. The Patriots built the Commanders' defense, but with Mike Vrabel instead of, what's his name? Who's their coach? No, not Ron Rivera, you goofy goober. The Falcons' old head coach. Dan Quinn, yes. And who are we taking over? Who are we taking, Mike Vrabel, or are we taking Dan Quinn? Are we taking the man who helped tear down the Patriots dynasty, or are we taking Dan Quinn? I am taking Mike Vrabel. Easily. I get it, Josh McDaniels is also the offensive coordinator, and he's a screwball. I can't stand him at all. He ruined Derek Carr. But he's back in home in New England. He ruined the Raiders. I mean,
I was listening to a thing on AP the other day.
Yeah, poor guy.
And he was talking about how he got the job and was the interim coach
and
everything. That's It's a crazy thing over there.
Before we get to the allegations of me just always talking about the Raiders no matter what, we'll get back to the schedule release. We're just a little ahead of schedule, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna backtrack for a second and rehash it. I don't think the Dolphins are. We'll get a little. There's a little bit more foreshadowing.
The Dolphins will win 5 games.
So my number 3 team in the division is the Patriots. At 10-7, their line is 7.5. I'm hammering the over on the Patriots at 10-7. Stephon Diggs, if he's healthy, could be a big up for Drake May, especially in his development. Having a veteran.
You said you have the Patriots at 10-7.
Just sit back and listen. The Patriots have bringing in Stephon Diggs, and a big veteran presence at receiver is going to help Drake May. Last year they had Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Kiki Booty, and then Demario Douglas. Like, that's great, but bringing in the vet is going to help him a lot, especially with how he runs routes. And then they beefed up their running back room, I believe. I don't remember who it was exactly. Let me use the internet real quick, as I often do.
Ramondre's still there, right?
Ramondre's still there, but they brought in Travion Henderson. That's the big boost. Because Travion Henderson is a jack of all trades, from everything that I've heard. And then for the defense, they brought in everybody in a bag of chips. Harold Landry, who Mike Vrabel has experience with, who knows what he's going to do. Robert Spillane, brought him in. He's solid. He's more of a run stopper now than a pass coverage guy, but he has his flashes. He's a step slower than usual. And then who else did they bring in? Milton Williams, the big guy from the Eagles. They beefed up that defense and gave Mike Vrabel a lot of toys to play with. So now let's get to number 2, which is what you're waiting for. Let me preface this.
Double digit.
There's
no way Jets win double-digit games.
Let me preface.
How is that roster?
Let me preface this with, I was listening to a podcast the other day, last week actually. I think it was Football 301 again. They were talking about quarterbacks and just how potent Justin Fields and Breece Hall are going to be in that backfield. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a second here. Let me take a second and realize Garrett Wilson let me take a second and realize that Allen Lazard, I have the Jets going 11-6. Their line is 5.5, and I am hammering the over for the first time in my life. Hammering the over for 5.5. 5.5? Are you kidding me? Did you look at their schedule? 5.5. Let's run through this real quick. Steelers week 1. I'm taking the Jets. Week 2, Bills. They're losing that. Week 3, the Buccaneers. I'm low on the Buccaneers. I think that's a toss-up. Dolphins, Jets. I don't have any faith in the Dolphins at all. Little subtle foreshadowing, the Cowboys. I think the Jets beat the Cowboys. I don't have any faith in the Cowboys this year. So that's, 3 wins? 3 wins already? Okay. Then we got the Broncos. And the Broncos, that's a loss. Panthers, win. They're beating the Panthers. Yes. Yes. That defense still sucks. The read option against that defensive line, are you kidding me? That's going to be beautiful. Justin Fields is going to he's going to lead the league in rushing dang near. Then you go and play the Bengals, that's a toss-up. Play the Browns, that's a win. Play the Patriots, that's a toss-up. Play the Ravens, you're losing that. The Falcons, that's a toss-up. We don't know what Michael Penix is going to look like yet. That defense still kind of stinks. I mean, sure, they got 2 edge rushers, but we don't know what they're going to look like yet. There's a whole lot of question marks with that. And Kyle Pitts is still not proving anything since his rookie year when he had 1,000 yards. Drake London's great and all. Darnell Mooney is a good number 2, but
Falcons are beating him.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I think the Jets have more heat than you think.
Their ceiling is 6 games.
And you know what? The over-under is 5.5, so I'm hammering the over. Hammering the over.
While you were speaking, I went out there and I went and made a trade for Garrett Wilson because you sold me.
You're welcome.
On Garrett Wilson, so.
You're welcome. Because you know who else they brought over with them?
I have Breece Hall.
You tried to trade him to me earlier this year. They also brought.
You could have took him.
They also brought in an offensive guy from the Lions with him. From the Lions. Aaron Glenn.
Brian Johnson?
No, you doofus. He's on
defense.
No, Brian Johnson's that's not even his name. What's his name? You're talking about the Bears head coach. Ben Johnson, you doofus. Ben Johnson is the head coach of the Bears. Aaron Glenn.
Right, we spending too much time on the dang Jets.
We're spending too much. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Who cares?
They're going 11-6.
Anyways.
11-6 for a worst draft pick. Let's get to the Bills.
The Bills are molly-whopping that whole division. They're going 14-3.
I have them going 15-2. So we're on head. We're there. We're there.
The over's 11.5. Hammering the over. Molly-whopping the whole entire division.
Yep.
They're only losing a few games to some top teams. Yep. They play the Ravens. They play the Chiefs.
Yep.
I believe they play the Rams.
Yep.
So those are 3 games that could be possible. I believe they play the 49ers. I couldn't remember if they do or not.
Doesn't matter. They're winning that game.
But
they're winning that game. Don't even.
But yeah, 14-3, 5-1 in the division, 9-3 in the conference. The only 3 games they lose, they don't lose a game outside of the conference.
No.
Bills are.
Yeah, I have them going 15-2 as well. Their over/under is 11.5. So. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yep, hammered. I wish I had a thing ready for that to be put on the podcast, but I was a busy guy. Right. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I was busy. So.
The hammers. We said I'm taking Bills.
Yeah, we said Bills, Ravens, Bills over, Ravens over, Steelers under, Browns under. Yeah, post this on the Instagram. All of our overs and unders. Hammers.
I'm gonna parlay this all together if I can.
Yeah, we'll find it. And then Dolphins 8.5. I'm hitting the under on that. That's crazy. Under. Okay, let's get to the AFC West. My division. Oh man, I saw your records and they defer. I'll tell you that much right now. They defer. I don't honestly, I wrote down like before I went through the schedule, I had every division ranked by team, and I actually stuck to the ranking in this division. The records I didn't expect, but stuck to the ranking. So you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first just to knock it out of the way so you can get to talking about them. I have the Raiders at going 6-11. Their over under is 5.5. I like the Raiders over just because their ceiling is so high, and they can play well. They're young. They have a better quarterback now. They have a decent running back who hasn't played a snap yet, but we're anticipating to be pretty well. They go 6-11. They do play in a really really tough division, which I think hurts them a little bit. They go 2-4. That division's pretty tough. So they go 4-8 in conference. So I mean, if I take a look at my notes, I like the over just because they have a top 5 tight end that a quarterback can throw to, and it seems like a team that has a really good tight end the past few years can win some games.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, a good tight end and a good quarterback, because last year we had a good tight end and no quarterback. Respectfully, Aiden O'Connell, I'm sorry, my boy, but my boy is never going to get his moment. So actually, my fourth, now this is the closest division I had by a long shot. I'm going to start with that, which
Please say Raiders at 4.
it's size. No, hold on. Let me remind the viewers and us. We had the AFC West as the best division in the league coming into this year.
Yes.
We also said that this was going to be a tightly contested division.
Yes.
I have the Chargers at number 4 at 10-7. Their over under is 10.5. That line scares me. But let me just run you through this real quick.
Wait, hold on, pause. Before you go any farther, you have the Chargers at 4 going 10-7.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you have 4 double-digit teams?
Yep.
That ain't happening.
Yeah. Whatever you say. So we've got the Chargers, right? What was their biggest weakness coming into this offseason? They had 2.
A wide receiver that doesn't have bricks for hands.
Did they fix that? No.
I mean, they've been trying to fix it with Ladd.
They didn't fix it. All they have is Ladd. And what happened last year in the playoffs with just Ladd? Justin Herbert threw 3 picks. Exactly. What did they add? Pat Bryant? Have you ever heard of him before? Out of Illinois?
I don't know who that guy is.
Exactly. He's big. That's all I know about him. Right?
He's probably like 6'4".
You know who their number 1 running back is right now? Okay, hold on. Let's backtrack to last year.
Najee Harris, baby.
Yeah, Najee.
Redemption time. Let's go.
Najee Harris is their number 1 running back right now. Omarion Hampton's number 2. You mean to tell me?
Don't disrespect that man, Omarion Hampton.
No, he's gonna end up being their number 1. But you lead me to believe that a J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards backfield is not better than a Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. It is. It was better. Najee Harris is no. You're never gonna lead me to believe that Najee Harris is doing anything. No, especially with Arthur Smith being one of the most run heavy coordinators in the league from the Steelers.
He had
no
offensive line.
And then we go to the defense, right? We go to the defense. What was their other problem? Interior defensive line and defensive line in general, right? They lost Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack is old. Very old, matter of fact. He's
so then why do you still have him going 10-7?
Because Harbaugh's their coach and Herbert's their quarterback.
They can still go like 7-9 or 7-10.
They could. I've been saying this entire podcast that I don't know if I stand by the records. I do stand by the placements of them, of the teams in the divisions. But
Raiders aren't there yet.
Their defensive line, Deshaun Hand, Tyir Tart, Otito Ogbania, Tuli Tuipulotu. Then you got Khalil Mack. No thanks. Their cornerbacks, Dante Jackson, Cam Hart, Tarheeb Still. Either I've fallen off of the NFL's face of the earth, or Dante. Last time Dante.
Four teams in the division, all 10 plus.
Last time Dante Jackson was good was when? Like, if that's the same Dante Jackson that was on the Panthers forever ago, and it sure is. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Let's see all. Yeah. The Dante Jackson that was on the Steelers last year. No, I'm good. Yeah. So then we got.
I'm gonna bump you off this train here.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna bump you off this train.
I'm on this train.
And here's why. Because you're talking about the Chargers. The Chargers are gonna go 8-9 for me. They're not. They're good. They're not that good. Harbaugh's gonna be able to win you games, but they need some pieces still, as we've been mentioning. They're not winning 10 plus games. And
their over under is 8.5. So, oh no, their over under is 10.5.
The Chargers are losing 2 to the Chiefs, and they're most likely going to lose 2 to the Broncos, and their only win is going to probably become to the Raiders in the division. And I have them splitting. So Chargers aren't that good. This division, the division beats up on itself a little bit. I know we said
as much as the Raiders get like beat up on by every NFL fan ever, the Raiders split the most out of everybody in the division. They're the last.
Can't win a game outside the division.
They're the last team to outside of last year, they hadn't lost the Broncos since 2016. Since Manning. The Chargers and them always split. Let's never forget the Derek Carr looking at the time clock and timing out to kick them out of the playoffs because Brandon Staley's a doofus. And then the last team to beat the Chiefs at home is the Raiders. Sorry, I was looking at the schedule.
Well,
hate on my team all you want. I have the Raiders going 10-7 also at 3, third in the division. Now, hear me out. I know you're like, the Raiders aren't there yet. They're not there yet. Shut up. I don't care. Patriots, week 1. That's a win. Chargers, week 2. Up in the air. Commanders, week 3. I don't know. Bears, week 4. That's up in the air. Colts, week 5. I don't know. Titans, week 6. That's a win.
Yeah,
Chiefs.
For me right now.
I mean, I don't wait 6 weeks. Okay, then you got the Jags. Then you got the Broncos. They always split with the Broncos. Yes. Then you got the Cowboys. I have no faith in the Cowboys. The Browns.
The boys are back.
No, they're not.
Dak is healthy. They're good. When Dak's healthy, we're gonna talk about this.
I couldn't give a rip.
Later.
I couldn't give a rip. You got the Browns. Win. That's 6 wins right there. That's already what you said. And you're going to tell me that they're not beating the Giants? They're not beating the Chargers once? That's 8 wins.
They're not beating the Colts.
You're insane.
They're not beating the Colts.
I'll be at the game. They will beat the Colts. Every time I've been at the game, they've beat the Colts.
What? Preseason games?
No. Every regular season game that the Raiders have had in Lucas Oil the last 4 or 5 years. There was one game I wasn't at, and the Raiders lost. I was there when Gardner Minshew threw that last-minute pick 6 to, wasn't that Eric Harris? To seal the game? I was there when Hunter Renfrow had that big boy catch from Derek Carr. I had a video of it. I had a video of it too. They're beating the Colts. But anyways.
Colts got something to play for.
But anyways, 10-7, Raiders number 3. Their over under is 5.5, and I'm hammering the over. Easily.
I can agree with that.
Number 2, we've got the Broncos at 12-5.
Yeah, I got the Broncos at 11-6. They go even throughout the division. It's.
Ooh, hold on. One more thing. Pete Carroll and Harbaugh have history, right?
Documented that.
But I think the Raiders coordinators, at least Patrick Graham, is better than the Chargers defensive coordinator. Keep that in mind. So, now back to the Broncos. Broncos 12-5. Back to the Broncos at 12-5.
The playoffs. They could possibly win a playoff game.
It really depends on Bo Nix. And well, the receiving core is a little funky still too.
Yeah, but
because I don't think they added anybody this offseason.
But it's Sean Payton. Sean Payton can do wonders with decent wide receiver cores.
Hold on. Their starting running back is R.J. Harvey. The rookie. The guy from Kansas State.
No way. Somebody's on IR.
Audric Estime is the number 2.
Somebody's on IR. What
Nope.
happened to McLaughlin?
He's number 3. You think Jaleel McLaughlin's the starting running back?
He's been in that for a while. He'll.
You're nuts. But then you got Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Devon Vele. I don't know. And then Troy Franklin's their number 4. Then Pat Bryant. Wait. Oh, Pat Bryant's on the Broncos. Who did the Chargers get? I know they took somebody. Trey Harris.
Don't matter.
Trey Harris. That's who it was.
Don't care. Chiefs are winning the division.
Mike Williams is back too. But yeah, the Chiefs are still winning the division. I have them going 14-3. Oh, also the line for the Broncos is 9.5. Before this podcast, I was gonna say hammer the over, but after looking at their receiving core, they have one injury. It's looking pretty ugly. And then Chiefs over under is 11.5. Probably gonna hammer that because it's the Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs' voodoo magic. They always They don't lose a division game this year.
I don't think we have to do too much about talking about the Chiefs. Sorry, Chiefs fans, but I just think it's self-explanatory for the Chiefs. It's just the Chiefs, unless Patrick Mahomes breaks his leg, which I would never wish injury upon anybody.
Carson Wentz is coming. Is he still on the?
He's on
Wentz still there, right?
No, it's Gardner Minshew. If the Raiders lose to a Gardner Minshew-led Chiefs team, I might jump off my balcony. It's only 2 stories. It's okay. I'll just hurt myself. But let's get to the AFC South. And have some fun, because this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be really interesting. Who's your number 4 team? Because I think they're different.
How could one be different from the Tennessee Titans?
Okay, no, they're the same. Never mind. Okay. I also have them 3.
Titans are still obviously rebuilding. They need to get more people in here, young, and Cam Warren's got to learn a few things. He's got to adapt. It took him a while to adapt in college football. Obviously, he was at Incarnate World, and then went to Washington State, and then went to Miami. So I think it's going to take him a little time just in the NFL to adapt, just like he did in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. That being said, they don't win a division game. They go 1-11 in the conference.
How many 3-14? I had the same. They're over under 5.5. That's a scary line, because if Cam Ward lights it up, that's a couple wins.
Daniels type thing.
I just don't like their coach. Like, I much rather have the Commanders coaching than the Titans, because Brian Callahan, I believe, is their head coach. And I also don't really like their defense. I don't like looking at Sebastian Joseph Day, Tavondre Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons. Outside of Jeffrey Simmons, I mean, they got L'Jarius Sneed. That's cool. That's nice. It really comes down to their receiving core. Calvin Ridley is their number 1 receiver, which was cool a long time ago. But then their number 2 is Tyler Lockett.
And it's where wide receivers go to die.
And then Treylon Burks is their number 3 still. When are we going to give up on Treylon Burks? And then Van Jefferson. And then DK, Shamir DK, he's a rookie. I hope I'm saying his name right. And then Alec Ayumanor. They have a lot of rookies. I just don't like the Titans. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I gotta keep fixing my light because I look like a ghost, and I promise I'm not this pasty. That's so much better. Well, I just gotta lean back. I'm trying to get out in the sun because I look like a ghost out here.
I have the Jags at 3.
I also have the Jags at 3.
I have the Jags at 3. I have them going 9-8 and barely missed the playoffs. They split in the division. They go 3-3. They split in the conference. They go 6-6. Trevor Lawrence stays healthy. It's a year to build on. Travis Hunter plays well, but not as well as we expect him to do. I think they have some young pieces around there. My notes: young team, healthy, and barely missed playoffs.
Sorry.
I believe. Who do the Jags play?
I have it. Hold on. Let me scroll down my notes.
There's a few easy, just like.
So the Jags play the Panthers week 1.
Yeah.
Bengals week 2. Texans week 3. Niners week 4. Chiefs week 5. Seahawks week 6. Rams week 7. Raiders week 9. Texans week 10. Chargers week 11. Cardinals week 12. Titans week 13. Colts week 14. Jets 15. Broncos week 16. Then Colts and Titans.
Yeah, so they'll beat the Titans, and then they'll split with the Colts, and then they will lose to the Texans 4 times. So,
sorry, the guy I graduated with was talking about in our mock draft sleepers. He's on the Jacksonville Jaguars depth chart, which is really cool. So he's like deep into the receivers depth chart, but that's still really cool. So, yeah. A note. Travis Hunter is not listed as a corner. He is listed as number 2 receiver. He's not on the defensive. Oh wait, no, he's number 2 left cornerback. So
he hasn't been able to. His route running is looking a little scary. So.
But
he's doing a little bit more dancing.
I will say.
He could just get married though.
Yeah, good for him. I will say, their receiving core is looking nice, as opposed to a lot of teams in this league. Like you got Brian Thomas Jr., Diami Brown, and Travis Hunter. That's pretty solid. Just don't get any of them hurt because it goes downhill from there. Parker Washington, I've heard things about him. Not many things, but I've heard things. So the Jags, I have them going 5-12 as well. They're over under
5-12 as well. Whoa.
Yeah, 5-12. 6.5 is their over under. I don't know if they're there yet. I'm not as big of a Trevor Lawrence fan as you are. And yeah, let's hear your number 2 team because.
If you have the Colts winning the division, I might be happy for you, but I have the Colts going 9-8, splitting division, and going 6-6 in the conference as well. They do make the playoffs as the 7th seed. AR proves a little bit more this year, leads them to the playoffs. We still have some growing pains, but again, the Colts' offense is just loaded, and their defense got a whole lot better. So for this team not to make the playoffs would be something crazy.
Yeah.
And I think they skin by the skin of their teeth and make the playoffs and go 9-8.
So this was not a light decision. But after a lot of thinking, I have the Texans going 7-10. Now, hear me out. My biggest drawback to this is the Texans' defense is so good. But if you look back, this is the Bengals. This is the Bengals team from what was that 2020, 2021? The Bengals team that had a loaded offense, a solid defense, but no offensive line. Their offensive line got worse this offseason. They have Cam Robinson, Titus Ward, Titus Howard, sorry, Jarrett Patterson, Juice Scruggs, and Blake Fisher. They traded away their best offensive lineman. He had a lot of penalties, but he was still their best. They added more receivers, but you remember that meme of Joe Burrow chucking it deep to Jamar Chase because they drafted him instead of Penei Sewell? All I'm saying is there's boom and bust potential here with the Texans. Their floor is a floor.
There's no way the Texans don't win at least 9 games.
Their floor is still above the Jags, but I don't know. So to the fun part of this, I have the Colts going 12-5. So it's nothing crazy, but their over under is 6.5, and I am hammering the 6.5.
Oh yeah, hammer the over on the Colts.
Because as long as Shane Steichen dislodges his head from his butt and keeps Anthony Richardson in.
Unless you're living under a rock, their owner just died. Okay? They have something to play for. Something Indy can get behind. Last year, they were struggling to get behind the team. The team itself was struggling to find one common ground, work hard, play for one another. They have something to play for now. Okay? Jim Irsay just died. Okay?
It's not funny, but the way you're saying it's crazy.
Really sad. They have something to play for. Watch out. Watch out is all I got to say.
The Colts fans that I work with are going to be happy if they watch this episode, because every time they do, they're like, when are you going to stop beating up on the Colts? When are you going to? It's now. And now is when I'm going to stop beating up on the Colts, because the Colts are going 12-5. Their offense is on par with the best in the league. If Anthony Richardson can put it together, they have Jonathan Taylor, top 5 running back, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Daniels, top 5 receiving core probably, top 10 at least, Tyler Warren, who could be a top 7 tight end, because a lot of the good tight ends in this league are old. So you got George Kittle on his final years, Travis Kelce final years, Mark Andrews final years. Am I missing anybody big? No. Everybody else is young. Yeah, George Kittle was the first one I said.
Okay.
Trey McBride's young. So you got Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. Chig Okonkwo, but he's a pencil in because the tight ends are just weak. And then you go to their defense. Well, even their offensive line is still good. Then you go to their defense, who give JT Tuimoloau from Ohio State is their number 2 left defensive end, but I could see him starting over Kwity Paye eventually. Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner are still giant men in the defense. Yeah. And then you have Leatu Latu being their getting another off season under his belt, another year off of his surgery. He was already the best pass rusher in last year's draft. You just had to put the pieces together in terms of weapon, or in terms of a bag at least. Samson Ibukam, however the heck you want to say his last name, is their backup. That's a pretty good spot. He's never been like that guy, but you put him in on rotation, he's being productive for you. Then you go to their linebackers, Zaire Franklin. If he shuts his mouth, if you can get past him being a loudmouth, you're good. No, if he's gonna go after Pat McAfee for calling them clowns for being clowns last year, then grow up, buddy. Get off the podcast and focus on football. Then you got Jalen Jones, Charvarius Ward, and Kenny Moore at your cornerback spots. And then Cam Bynum, a big pickup. And then Nick Cross at strong safety. And then Juju Brents is their number 2 left cornerback. I've heard a lot of wishy-washy stuff on him. But all I'm saying is this team is young, it's hungry, and it doesn't have any holes, really. So the AFC South better watch out. South better watch out. And I'm excited for it because when the Colts do good, it's a lot happier workplace and morale for me too. So, yeah. So yeah, that caps off our record predictions for the AFC. We had a couple of wild ones. I guess I had a couple of wild ones.
I was sane today.
Yeah, you were sane. Like I said, those records, the schedule thing, the way we were doing it was weird. So, 12-5. So a little recap, just a little run through. This will also be posted, like our graphics will be posted on Instagram as well. But just a final recap of what we have for the divisions and winners. So the AFC North, Ravens at 15-2 for me. Regardless, okay, we'll just do it in order because, yeah. So for me, we have Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. AFC East, Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins. AFC West, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers. And then AFC South, Colts, Texans, Jags, Titans.
So for me, AFC East, I have Bills 14-3, Dolphins 9-8, Patriots 7-10, Jets 3-14. The AFC North, I have Ravens 12-5, Bengals 11-6, Steelers 7-10, Browns 2-15. The AFC South, Houston 12-5, Colts 9-8, Jacksonville 9-8, and Tennessee round division at 3-14. And then I have the AFC West. The Chiefs go 14-3, Broncos 11-6, Chargers 8-9, and then the Raiders, who just are not there yet, 6-11.
This is going to be an exciting season for both of our teams, because once we get to the NFC, I think. So if you're watching this tomorrow, so on Tuesday, I think we're also recording that episode tomorrow too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're watching this tomorrow, because you have to be, obviously, if you watch on drop, I guess. So the 26th is when we're recording it. We stream these episodes, by the way. So tune in, follow our Instagram. It's got a runner down there with all of our stuff. So if you're watching this on the 27th, then around 8:30, 9 o'clock is when we'll be streaming that episode, because these are live episodes. So tune in.
I don't know. It may not be 8 or 9 o'clock. The Pacers play tomorrow.
Okay.
It might be earlier or later.
Okay.
Because it's Pacers in 5. So
Well,
don't get it twisted. Pops just got free.
Well, I won't be home until 9. So, anyways,
Okay.
the NFC, just a little preview. The NFC North is loaded.
And the AFC West is back, or NFC West is back, baby. They're back. They're hungry.
The NFC South sucks. The NFC East is the same as last year, and the NFC East is going to be interesting. So, with all that being said, make sure you watch tomorrow or the next episode if you're an NFC team fan. But that puts a bow on our AFC team predictions records early off season, because again, this is May 26th. It's going to change. We might do another one after the preseason. That could be fun. But remember to keep your eye out for, again, tomorrow, the NFC East, or the NFC predictions drops tomorrow, or is recorded tomorrow, drops Thursday. So if you want to watch it early, watch the stream.
Find the stream tomorrow.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you think I'm a Looney Tune, let me know in the comments below. If you think he's needs to get off my back because I'm actually a big brain genius, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to check out our community tab to vote on future episodes outside of this week. And then with that being said, like, subscribe, and let your friends know that on the TED podcast, Tony and Dak, we know ball.